Aloha my Kākou! Today I'm going to be starting a new series that I have been thinking about doing. So this series is going to be called Komparing Keiki, and I think I might just call it Komparing Keiki just for short. If you don't know what Keiki means, it means kid. Series is going to be comparing 3 of my kids. Topics I'm going to be comparing them with: pregnancy, breastfeeding, nursing, all different types of topics. Super excited. I know people make videos, pregnancy videos of just one certain kid, but I don't know if this is out there already. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I just thought of this randomly and just thought I think it's pretty cool when people compare their kids, and I just want to put in one video comparing all 3 kids on a certain topic. Today's topic is going to be pregnancy. So Pualena, which is my oldest, she is 10 years old. Yeah, 10 years old. Pregnant with her at the age of 16, and I gave birth at 17. Puloku, he's currently 6 years old. I got pregnant with Puloku at the age of 21. Paulele is 2 years old. I got pregnant with Paulele at the age of 25, I want to say. I'm currently 28 years old right now. Pualena's pregnancy was pretty easy. I was going to high school at the time. My morning sickness wasn't even bad with her. I never threw up being pregnant with her, and it only lasted in the morning, and it only lasted like a couple months maybe. I would dry heave, is that what it's called, dry heave, where I would stand above the toilet and I would try to vomit, but saliva would just come out because I would keep my mouth open. Like, morning sickness for Puloku was really bad for me. I was working at Charlotte Russe in Pearl Ridge on the island of Oahu. My morning sickness was really bad. I left work. I told them that I can't work anymore because I just couldn't. My morning sickness was non-stop. The first 3-4 months I was like bedridden because I just felt so sick and nauseous. Like, all I could do was just lay down, and that's the only way I felt good. So I couldn't work. I quit my job at Charlotte Russe. I did throw up with Puloku, I think a couple times. No, one time for sure. It was day after I ate these clear lumpia, shrimp lumpia looking stuff. Following day, I got really just nauseous with that, and I threw it up in a bag on our way to a leasing office to get our first place together. We wanted to get our place before Puloku was born. Morning sickness with Paulele, oh my gosh. Paulele was the worst. I thought Puloku was the worst. No, Paulele's morning sickness was the worst. Same way though, where I was working at Target in Kapolei on the island of Oahu. I couldn't even work, and I told them, you know, I'm sorry, I can't come into work. I have morning sickness, couldn't get out of bed. I was thinking they were gonna give me some time off, but they just literally told me, they gave me the ultimatum. Oh yeah, you probably should just like quit then. So I quit. I quit my job at Target, and I didn't really care for that job anyway. I quit my job again because of my morning sickness. With Paulele, oh my gosh, her morning sickness just made me stay in bed all day as well, and it lasted like more than the first trimester. It lasted almost into like the ending of my pregnancy, I feel. My morning sickness was just the worst with her. Did I throw up with Paulele? I am not too sure if I threw up with Paulele. I'm not too sure. How much weight did I gain? With all 3 kids, 50 pounds plus. 50 pounds plus. Pualena, I was really young. I was in high school, and I weighed 115 pounds. And I gained 50 pounds. I gained 50 pounds. I just blew up like a balloon. I didn't even like taking pictures because my face was so swollen. My nose was so swollen. I just blew up, and I just looked plump. Like a big blueberry in Willy Wonka. That's what I was like, but I was brown looking, so I was a brown berry. With Puloku, before I got pregnant with Puloku, I was 125 pounds. I just gained 5 pounds more than Pualena. So I gained 55 pounds with him. His pregnancy, like the way I looked, when I was pregnant with Puloku, I did not look swollen at all. I actually looked really good. I mean, considering what I looked like when I was pregnant with Pualena, I looked pretty good for a pregnant woman. And they say that. They say with girls, they take your beauty away, and so you get like fat, or like your skin is acne and your hormones and all that stuff. And with boys, they don't do that. They don't take your beauty away or something. Boys, you look the best pregnant with. I agree. on that little myth, if it is, because I felt like I looked pretty decent being a pregnant woman with him. I felt like I looked more belly than just everything. With Paulele, I gained, I don't even know, wait, how much did I gain? With Paulele, I was 140 pounds when I first got pregnant with Paulele, and at that time I considered myself overweight. So a little backstory on that is because I was skinny after I gave birth to Puloku, especially breastfeeding, and breastfeeding really helped me lose a lot of my weight. With Puloku, I got down to like 130 or 25. I got back down to my weight. Then after I stopped breastfeeding Puloku, I gained weight because breastfeeding helps you lose weight. So since I stopped, I gained weight, and I was considering myself overweight. I was 140, 145 pounds, and I did not like the way I looked. I considered myself overweight at that time. I got pregnant. I thought, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be really fat this pregnancy. My weight when I gave birth to Puolena was 170 pounds. So I went from 112 to 170. When I gave birth to Puloku, my weight was 175 pounds. So I went from 125 pounds to 175 pounds with Puloku. With Paulele, my weight was 202 when I gave birth to Paulele. Yeah, I went from 140 pounds to 202 pounds. I gained 60 plus pounds with Paulele. It was the biggest I have ever been. I'm not too sure how much I weigh right now. Currently, I am breastfeeding Paulele. With her, I don't seem to be losing my weight for some reason. I did lose obviously weight from 202 pounds. I am down to 160. I want to say like I'm 160 something right now. It's not the weight I want to be at, honestly. I actually lost weight last year before our trip because I wanted to make sure I could look pretty decent taking pictures on our Disney trip. So I lost 20 pounds from being 170. The lowest I've ever weighed since Paulele was 149. That's the lowest I've ever weighed since giving birth to Paulele. So she's definitely maybe the fattest. Pregnancy cravings. Puolena, all I craved for was sweets. Anything that was a dessert, I was all about it. I wanted ice cream like all the time. With Puloku, all I craved was salty, meaty food. Cheeseburgers, French fries, popcorn. I always got that cheddar popcorn from Smart Foods, that brand. Constantly asked Darren to buy me that from 7-Eleven like every single day. What I craved with Paulele was sweets and salty foods as well. She was literally a combination of the two, and that's why I gained so much weight. I craved for burgers, French fries, craved for sweets like ice cream. I was in the ice cream aisle at Foodland over here in Kea'au, and I remember ladies like looking at me because I'm pregnant. She's like, oh, you're having a girl because you want sweets, you want ice cream. And I was like, oh yeah, I am having a girl. Look at this cat, isn't it neat? Wouldn't you think my collection's complete? Wouldn't you think I'm a girl? I'm one piece. Whoa. Were any of my kids planned pregnancies? For Puolena, no. For me, but yes, for Darren. Crazy little story. So for me, I was 16 years old and I actually had no education about sex education. And you can see my 16 and pregnant story if you haven't watched that already. I talk about how I didn't know about getting pregnant and all that stuff, so go watch that video. For my end, I didn't think I could get pregnant that fast, so definitely it was not planned on my end. I didn't know. I got pregnant within 3 months of being intimate with Darren. Is a planned pregnancy on Darren's end. It's this crazy little story. Basically, it sounds kind of psycho in a way, but he loved me so much, wanted to be with me so much that he wanted to get me pregnant so I can be his forever. Doesn't that kind of sound? But I mean, hey, we're still together 11 years later, 3 kids later. The puloku was definitely planned as well from both of us. I think it was, we were always talking about, okay, when should we have another kid? And just a little FYI, all our kids are 4 years apart, and we planned it all that way where we wanted them to be 4 years apart. So with puloku, when we decided to have him or have another child, his pregnancy was planned, and it was because me and Darren were talking about getting pregnant, I think one day in our room, and Pualana walks in and she was only 2 or 3 at the time. I think 2 or 3. I think out of the blue she just said she wanted a brother, or she wanted another baby, and from that our heart just melted and we're like, okay, I think it's time to start, because I think when we try to start, it's when like 2.5, 3 years old, because we want to plan to have our kids 4 years apart. Paulele, she was definitely planned as well. When did we decide to have her? It was about, oh my gosh, I don't know. I think it was just, we knew it was, that age was coming up where Puloku was gonna be 3 years old soon, and we wanted our kids to be 4 years apart. So we decided to have another child, and Paulele was conceived. All of my pregnancies, I got discoloration really bad in certain areas, and I still have, mainly discoloration was on my neck. I would get really dark spots on my neck, under my armpit especially. It would just be dark spots. No, just from the hormones, basically. With all my pregnancies like that, even in the back of my neck, I got dark spots. On my neck, in between my breasts, under my armpit was like the biggest thing. All 3 pregnancies, I got that was like really bad. Stretch marks. So with Pualana, I believe she's the only one who gave me stretch marks, because she made me blow up so swollen. Even when I was pregnant with Paulele, and she did make me go up to 202 pounds, I didn't look as swollen as I did with Pualana. And I think it's because I went from 115 pounds to 170. Pualana mainly gave me all the stretch marks on my stomach, on my thighs, and I believe on my breast, and on my arms in certain areas. Puloku, I don't think I gained any new stretch marks, because like I said, with him I looked pretty slim, being a pregnant woman. With Paulele, I'm not too sure. I probably did get some stretch marks with Paulele. My arms, my feet was swollen with all 3 kids. Yeah, swollen with all 3 kids. Did not have any pre-diabetes with any of my kids. I think Paulele actually was very close. The other 2, Pualana and Puloku, I did not. But Paulele, I was on the verge of almost being pre-diabetic, being pregnant. I just realized I did not finish this video with a proper ending. FYI, I am going to upload this today, which is July 13th, and I'm looking back at the footage, and I filmed this April 1st. So this is about 3 months old. That's so crazy. But I wanted to end this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this kind of video, and I'm gonna do some more obviously on different topics. But give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Also ring my bell, ring my bell, ring my bell. The way God made me, the way God made me. It would just be no, Tita, stop. Stop. Stop.